So, I recently uploaded a video of me playing Animal Crossing at 5 AM. I did not shift the time on my device. I set an alarm for myself to wake up at the crack of dawn, minutes before 5 AM, to simply record a play session of the game. I made the decision to only record the play session, not to include any audio or commentary. I didn't set up the green screen to include myself in the video, it was just pure gameplay for 30 minutes. Without thinking much on it, I did a little minor editing to introduce the video and to conclude it, but not much more thought was put into the session. I often hear stories about some of the greatest making the active decision to wake up before the world does to get work done, to practice their craft, to exercise, or to meditate. There's a zen to this process, and it's something that I try to display in my gameplay video. During the session, I made it a point to go through and knock on my neighbors' doors to show that they're still sleeping, because an hour later at 6 AM, most of my neighbors will be awake. 5 AM in Animal Crossing hits differently. It truly does, because it's very much like the real world in this way. I choose to say 5 AM as that is the moment that the day transitions into the next. It's the truest form of going from one day to the next. Often people will go to sleep at 1 AM or somewhere past midnight, and to them 12 AM is still part of the day that they're experiencing before going to bed. This is why I like that Animal Crossing chose 5 AM to be the reset time. When I wake up at 5 AM before my household does, before Terry wakes up, before the rest of the world does, there's a zen in the air. There isn't a sense of worry, there isn't a sense of urgency because no one else is awake yet. Everything is chill. It's me, my cup of coffee, and my Switch at hand, and the peaceful buzzing of the Animal Crossing air, and the eventual rising of the real world sun. I went about my rounds so early in the morning. I caught that butterfly I saw in the distance. I pulled out my fishing rod when I saw that shadow in the water. I pulled out that random weed in the corner. I dug up the fossil that I came across, and I patiently hid the balloon present I saw while talking to Mabel, the only other person awake with me. There was no thought to it, it was just the act of moving, the act of doing what I saw, and what I could do in this time. I wasn't fishing for bells or miles in this instance, I was just doing what felt natural because the morning was mine. On top of all this, the calm blue hues in the morning sky at this time is probably what I appreciate the most in all of this. It's a blue sky that you wouldn't otherwise see at any other time in the game. It's a true reward for making the decision to wake up early to play. I don't think many other people would choose to set their Switch time till this point, since the Nooklings do not open shop until 8 AM and everyone else is basically asleep. I've been thinking a lot about the art of Zen, the act without thinking, falling into routine to better shape your day, having things become muscle memory to require less effort to find a sense of calmness. Although I often record videos of me saying that I struggle with mental control and how I do not easily allow myself to put myself in situations where I relinquish that control, I've yet to upload these videos because I can't relinquish that control. I recorded with the intention of trying to reach out to someone who may need to hear it, but I digress. This year, really after February, I finally allowed myself to do more with thinking less. I'm not 100%, but it's getting better every day. I've allowed myself to wake up when my body naturally does it, but I've also pushed myself to get up and move despite wanting to lay in a warm bed until a later time. I started doing things that I thought about wanting to do. Most of it, definitely not always, it started with wanting to do things like waking up at 5 AM to play Animal Crossing before the rest of the world has. I recently purchased a book titled Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday, with the thesis of the book being to find various ways to zen your life into being a much more productive, calm, and striving human being. It's really helped bridge the gap between my goals, execution, and theory. It's an insightful read I recommend to anyone wanting to pursue zen through the art of stillness. A few examples Holiday included is simply journaling your thoughts the way Anne Frank did as a way of self-therapy, dividing out your thoughts between what's good and what's bad and recognizing the bad to remove it. He's also recommended embracing silence in our noisy world. Instead of popping in your headphones before a walk, leave them out and listen to the world around you. And my favorite as it pertains to this video is emptying your mind. Focus on the task at hand. If you're playing Animal Crossing, lose yourself in the game. Cultivate that island of yours and make it the way you want. Play it the way you want. Though Holiday really uses this piece of advice as a way of telling the readers to block out the negative thoughts weighing you down as well as the positive ones that boast the ego. The point is that there is zen in Animal Crossing and you should embrace it 100%. Bye, ciao.